Hey everybody, today on the show we talk about Alien Covenant, Rob gives his take on Game of Thrones, and we look at the future of the DC Cinematic Universe. This is Nerdy Pop. Hey everybody, welcome to Nerdy Pop, episode 3. My name is Matt Barnes, and with me as always, Rob Liefeld.
How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing good. How are you, man? We're back, episode 3.
I'm in sandals.
You are in sandals.
Yeah.
It is hot outside, man.
It is.
It is hot outside.
So what's
Yep.
up? What do we got?
We got a lot today. I think we're going to be talking about the future of the DC Cinematic
Yes,
Universe.
yes.
Last week we talked about a little bit about X-Men. This week we're going DC,
Justice League.
Justice League,
Big news.
Suicide Squad, the whole deal. There's been a lot coming out this week on that, so we want to hit that. But before we do, we want to get to our normal segment, which we call the Nerdy News.
The Nerdy News.
First up in the Nerdy News this week was announced that Noomi Rapace is reprising her role in the Alien Covenant movie that's coming out. And I think if originally that had been announced, I'd be very excited about it. But I'm a little worried about this movie because there have been so many changes made.
Wow.
First, there was a different title, and then they changed it to Alien Covenant, and then it was battling for Neil Blomkamp had announced that he was going to do his
Right.
Alien movie,
Yeah.
and then now that's been put on hold for this. And it seems like everybody's kind of. And then Ridley Scott came out and said she will not be in the movie.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden today, now they're in the middle of filming it, and suddenly
But
she's in the movie.
you like that she's back.
I like the idea that there's continuity between the movies. I think Prometheus was a movie I enjoyed, but had some fatal flaws to it.
Oh my gosh, I loved it. I don't mind telling everyone I love movies that other people hate.
Oh,
I loved Prometheus. So go ahead.
no,
Go ahead.
I really did enjoy it. There were a few things that, but I was excited when they said they were going to extend that story and connect it to the Alien universe in general. So I think having her in there kind of will help that along more. But it just concerns me that it was like, no, she's not doing it. She's not going to be in it, and now she's in it. So they're making changes as they go. I don't know.
And they didn't give any. I read the headline. I read some of the news. I'm aware of it. But did they give a story why she's back, or was it just under
Nope.
wraps? Or
Nope, just-
because I think she's great. Like I
love
said,
her.
I love Prometheus. I love that world. I love everything that they set up. I'm excited to see where it
Yeah.
goes and where it unfolds. I mean, I saw Alien when I was a kid. Scared the crap out of me. Probably one of the scariest movies I ever saw.
Right.
Up there with The Exorcist. And that the change in the title is weird.
Right.
Because I liked the name Prometheus. But yeah, no, it was my son's first R-rated movie, and you never forget that when you take your 13-year-old to the R-rated movie because there's no one else around and you have to pull him with you.
Right.
And he's like, "Thanks for taking me, Dad," because I never saw all that stuff before. But so and so Prometheus, but I thought it was really well made, and Ridley Scott.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
I think he's fantastic. I think it definitely benefits for me having her back.
Yeah.
And it's intriguing.
Yeah, I knew they were going to have Michael Fassbender, and they were somehow bring his character back. David, I believe is his name, into it.
He's an android. He regenerates. He's
Right.
got to regenerate.
He lost his head at the end of the last
Right.
one, I believe. And so I'm excited to see where it goes. But it was exciting, but it was also a little like what's going on there. But
I just want to know if we'll see those Prometheus-looking dudes again,
Yeah.
or are we just going full alien now?
I don't know.
And wait, didn't they cancel? Isn't there somebody who they announced is Sigourney Weaver's character, Ripley's mom is in
Yes.
it too?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
no, is that next summer? That's gonna be good.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
gonna be really good.
Linking it all together. All right, so Rob, what's your contribution to the Nerdy News today?
My contribution to the nerdy news is Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Matt, it's ending this week. This season comes to an end, and it's always traumatic for all the Game of Thrones fans.
Yes.
This last episode was a culmination of a years-long plot line, which found the Jon Snow taking back Winterfell,
Yeah.
which has been held by probably the worst villain in the history of fiction that I've ever encountered, named Ramsay Bolton. And they are both bastards, hence the title Battle of the Bastards, which
Got
was
it.
the name of the episode.
Okay.
And let me
Great
tell you something.
title,
Let me
by the
tell-
way.
It was Battle of the Bastards, baby. Here's the deal. Here's the deal. The second to the last episode before the finale, it's a years-long tradition,
Okay.
seasons-long tradition on Game of Thrones, that is the action extravaganza. I mean, it is the Braveheart episode. There's
Okay.
always tons of killer action and inventive direction. And I actually have a question for our viewership.
Yeah.
Because my wife, who, it's so awesome, she watches every episode with me.
Yeah.
This is her fantasy thing that she digs. We were watching, and if you were watching Jon Snow the other night, they did an extended sequence where he dodged every blade, every arrow, rampaging horses, and this character, Matt, has been brought back from the dead.
Yes,
and,
that I'm aware of.
Jon Snow, it appears to me, just from that episode, cannot be killed.
Okay.
That there may be something that they were trying to communicate with us. He did not meet any cuts or impaling from all the arrows, spears, and you go, maybe this guy now like can't be hurt.
He's
or
immortal
harmed.
now.
He went through a lot and came out unscathed.
Okay.
And our one of my favorite characters on the show for the last couple seasons has been this giant.
Okay.
That does not really. He speaks in very brief blurts of words occasionally, but he's largely silent. But he is a massive force of violence. He literally picks people up and rips them in two.
Oh.
And they always make sure that show that the and nice blood splatters for guys like me who go, yeah, because I'm a sicko. But he came to his demise, I'm sorry to say, 1-1. I thought for a minute there, they're going to pull him out. He has like 100 arrows in him.
Yeah.
Very 300 kind of imagery.
Yeah.
And then he was sitting there and he thought, and then boom, arrow in the eye, and he was done. So that action extravaganza was great, but it sets up the culmination of this season, which is Cersei Lannister, which is actually, last season she was freed from her imprisonment. This religious cult has taken over the kingdom.
Okay.
And next week we come down with her final judgment, and I think there's going to be it feels like there's going to be a coup. So that I think everyone is weighing in with opinions on Game of Thrones. Very excited to have the season wrap up, and then we have 2 more left. Sucks they're making them mini seasons.
Okay.
But it's really the coolest thing about this season is that they're off the books now.
Yeah.
And I was one of those guys that had read the books that was actually anxious to be in uncharted territories.
Sure.
And George R. R. Martin, are you ever going to write that book? I mean,
he gets a lot of flack for that, man.
He's just like, just do the show. That was the starter set. The novels were the starter set, and then the showrunners have done a great job, though.
Sure.
So anyway, this Sunday it all wraps up.
All
Last
right.
Sunday, epic. Whenever you get around to watching it, you should watch it.
I should.
Great,
yeah, I
great
guess
show.
I told you my wife is a huge fan. She's actually, she didn't see this weekend, so she's here
I'm
covering her ears right now, has no idea what I'm
trying
saying.
not to notice her hands over her ears right now.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's it for me.
Our final piece of nerdy news this week is, which I'm sure you've already heard about. Unfortunately, we had the news this weekend that Anton Yelchin, star of Star Trek, passed away at the age of 27. And for us, we bonded over Star Trek initially. We went to see both of those Star Trek movies together. He was excellent in those. Such a young guy. I remember even seeing the independent movie Charlie Bartlett a long time ago, and just thinking that guy's hilarious, and he was so good. And so, of course,
Super talented.
Super talented.
And also in Terminator Salvation,
That's
which,
right.
like Prometheus, I will defend.
I
thought it
liked
was
Terminator
way better than
Salvation.
that last one that had the Game of Thrones girl in it. Oh my gosh! But Terminator Salvation, he was Kyle Reese, I believe, and
I think so.
I just very talented guy. Very sorry to hear of his passing, and wonderful as Chekhov, and we will absolutely now more than ever be excited to see his last turn.
Yeah.
As a tribute.
And they announced today that they're gonna be dedicating that movie to his
so I
memory,
mean,
which
really
is-
heart-wrenching, but horrible. Thank you for your great work, Anton.
Yeah, and our prayers and condolences go out to your family and to the Star Trek family. Today, moving along, we are going to be talking about the DC Cinematic Universe, because this week so much stuff has been coming out. The blogosphere was invited to visit the sets of Justice League, and I think to do some repair work after Batman vs. Superman, which we've never actually discussed yet. And so I wanted to start by talking about that, and I thought it's probably a little bit easy for us to get into super critical mode on that. I know for me it is. So let's start with one thing that you really liked about that movie. What was the bright spot?
Batman vs. Superman, Wonder Woman was spectacular.
Gal
Gadot was fantastic. I thought I could have used more of her. I'm really mixed on BVS. I did not like it.
Yeah.
I previously have said it was a very frustrating movie to watch.
Yes.
Because it just didn't fit together as a movie. As a film, it doesn't piece together right. There are chunks that are noticeably missing, and there are characters. My biggest criticism is there are characters that just do things that don't make any sense other than to further the plot.
Well, and okay, so the biggest bright spot for me
I'm gonna get comfortable. Okay.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Was Ben Affleck. I thought Ben Affleck, possibly my favorite Batman, and I know that might be controversial. I just thought he was fantastic. Especially that particular take on Batman was great. I had several, going into it, the first scene being Thomas and Martha Wayne struck down again
Right.
for the
Yeah.
bajillionth
Yeah.
time. I'm
Same enough.
immediately going, oh, this is not good for
Sure.
this movie. This does not bode well for this movie that was the choice. Because I'm like, how many times do we have to see that? Like, really,
No,
from a
it-
storytelling standpoint, it just set me up to go, oh, this is not going to be good.
Ben
Like,
Affleck was great as Batman. He
was.
was 100% and I thought the way that Zack Snyder, who we got to give credit for the way things look,
Yes.
he made this was the Batman visually. I thought that was
Yes.
the best representation of Batman,
especially
to
the
date.
Frank Miller kind of look of Batman.
Yeah. Oh, and when he gets in the armor, I mean,
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this is my childhood being realized by one of the greatest. Frank Miller is. I really only liked Batman when Frank Miller did him. I've been very open, and people who follow me online, I get a lot of heat over how I kind of hold DC's feet to the fire.
Yeah.
But I grew up a huge DC Comics fan. I adore them. Even today, I was going through the shelves in the house of the DVDs, and I got every Super Friends, all the Justice
Yeah.
Leagues from the 90s and the early 2000s, and the Brave and the Bold cartoons. I mean, in animated form, the DC universe is so well represented. It's perfect. But BVS had a lot of problems.
Yeah.
It did. And here's the deal: the record opening, the weekend represented 50%
Right.
of the take of the entire film, and that just told me people. The people are there to support the movies.
People wanted to.
They-
I
yes.
wanted so bad to love that movie. I was really looking forward to it, but you go see it and you realize immediately, if you know comics at all, that they took like 5 different major storylines that could have been their own
Yeah.
movies and crammed it into one movie. I mean, you had Death of Superman, you had
Dark Knight.
you had putting the Justice League. You had Man of Steel 2. I
Yeah.
mean, they're trying to resolve that. They're
Superman
trying to bring
got
this.
the
They're
shaft
trying-
in this movie. I thought he
Oh.
got I think they reported like how little he's actually in it or how
Right.
few lines he has. But so this brings us to Justice League.
Yes.
And Zack Snyder even on the blogs. Okay, all these guys and big shout outs to all these guys: Slash Film Collider,
Yes.
Devin Faraci, El Mayembe, Joe Blow. If I said Collider, I'll say it again. Bottom line, all these guys. I call them the Legion of Super Bloggers.
Yep.
Were invited to the set. Of the Justice League.
Yes.
And Zack Snyder even told them that he was shocked by the reaction that people had
Right.
to the film. But and now they're saying that Justice League is going to be in a different direction,
Yes.
more lighthearted. Some sites that even said Justice League tries for Marvel tone. Whatever.
Yeah.
Hey man, just give me a fun movie.
Well, did you even the logo? They put out the logo today,
Yeah.
and it looks so much more comic book fun. Like
Yeah,
it
it
just
does.
like you're like
It does.
I,
Little
that
star.
looks awesome. I think they're definitely doing some damage control, having all these people
Absolutely.
over there, sharing all these things. He was reading the interviews with Zack Snyder, a little on the defensive, but
Sure.
also, and so there was a little bit of, and I think Devin called him out a little bit on it, of saying like, there's a little bit of like, oh, we're learning our mistakes, but this was planned all along,
Yeah.
and you kind of can't have it both ways. There's
It's so part of me will just, why don't they just come out and say, hey, you know what, we
Right.
took a tone. I think he and his wife Deborah Snyder made a comment that that's the darkest. This was always meant to be the darkest chapter of BVS, and now this is the lighthearted chapter. You know what? I don't care. I don't know.
Right.
I saw BVS. I paid for my tickets. I gave at the office.
Yep.
I'm entitled to my opinion. I have loved every Zack Snyder film. Again, let's argue Sucker Punch. I'll do that with you people. I think he is fantastic. I just think BVS was a misstep, but at the end of the day, it made $800 million, which shows. I hate the number stuff too, but it does show like there's interest.
But getting to the number stuff, because whether you like Sucker Punch or not, it didn't do super well. His only most successful movie was 300, but they keep entrusting him with these things.
He took on. Let me tell you something. You should rewatch Watchmen. It is a masterpiece. It is. Get the uncut Blu-ray. It is so well done. It came out right before the superhero blow up, but it's also people used to say this film is unwatchable. I mean, let me. They said the graphic novel is unfilmable, not the film is unwatchable.
Right.
They said the graphic novel, you can't film Watchmen. He did. It made sense. I was a big fan. I worked at a comic store when Dark Knight and Watchmen were coming out, and I thought Zack did a great job. He's not given enough credit on that. But you're right. 300 blew people away.
Right.
It was. And his original Dawn of the Dead, I mean, I've seen everything. Everything he's done, I've seen. I think he's great. Justice League, I'm excited about Aquaman. I'm going to tell you right now, I have always been a big Aquaman fan. I think
Yep.
in episode 1,
Yeah, we talked
I
about it.
talked about Aquaman. I am so psyched to see the Atlantis depicted, and Mira, who I'm scared they're going to recast with all the drama between Mrs. Johnny Depp and all that
yeah,
stuff that's going
yeah.
on. But Aquaman, Mira, Atlantis, and I like that Batman is gathering the Super Friends and bringing them together. As he told, I like that at the end of Batman vs Superman when he says to Wonder Woman, "Look, we're going to find others like us."
See, that was one thing where I was a little confused because in my understanding of Justice League, Batman was always the reluctant to participate guy. He was kind of always on the outside, like, yeah, if you need me, let me know, but I'm not official member kind of thing. So, you know, but there was, I think Zack Snyder said in an interview today, like, that there's that tension in this. Like, he's doing it because he knows he has to, but he doesn't always play well with others kind of thing.
Yeah, no, and how will you give orders to a king?
Right.
This is great stuff.
Right.
With Aquaman being the king of Atlantis, why would he listen to this guy who has a bat jet or a Batmobile? But honestly, and here's the deal: the Steppenwolf and is a representative of the New Gods. New Gods is the creation of Jack Kirby. Jack Kirby is the single greatest comic book creator that ever did comic books. I was humbled and fortunate enough to meet him, to know him, to spend time with him, being a fan of his as a kid, and he invited me to his home, and if you were to say, like, you know, who was the greatest guy you ever met, I'd be like, it will always be Jack Kirby.
Right.
So seeing them pivot towards the New Gods, which means Darkseid, which means Orion and Light Ray, and I mean that is a whole realm that they could open up.
Sure.
That is very exciting. But I'm going to tell you my theory on
Yes.
Justice League and this set visit.
Okay.
Matt, they have a movie coming out in 6 weeks, 2 months,
Yep.
whatever Suicide Squad is. I believe this is all to get us to feel good and be invested in DC Comics and their universe again, because Suicide Squad is a big investment for them. And I mean, they've been rolling out new posters, new concept sheets. I mean, telling us the licensing, the soundtrack, the song list. I mean, they really want us to get invested in Suicide Squad, which is coming at the end of the summer,
Right.
Which is traditionally a harder window to launch.
Right.
And Guardians of the Galaxy did it 2 years ago, so they're right in the Guardians of the Galaxy slot.
Yep.
But I think, and here's the deal, this is not a scoop. We don't do scoops. I'm not a scooper. I leave that to my buddy El Mayembe at Heroic Hollywood. But I have been hearing for a long time. Because haven't you watched the Suicide Squad trailers? Who are they fighting, Matt? Who are they fighting? Why are they being dispatched? What's their mission? Have you seen the bad guy? It doesn't. They're not fighting themselves.
To blow stuff up, as far as I can tell.
To blow stuff up. I am telling you, I have good intel that Suicide Squad is being formed by Amanda Waller to go after an alien menace that has attacked a city. I've heard it's an alien symbiote.
Okay.
There are rumors of who this character is. I'm not going to go there. That's for guys with better contacts than me. But I do believe they're gathered to battle an alien menace, who will ultimately be a Morpheus. These are words told to me. Special effect.
Okay.
And so which they haven't shown yet, because I don't think they're fighting the Joker. I think the Joker is part of the Suicide Squad.
Sure.
But I'm telling you, I think the squad is gathering to battle. My buddy really has always given me solid. I can talk today. Solid intel on this stuff, and I believe they are battling an alien menace, maybe mind controlling people. So that's I'm putting that out there. But Suicide Squad is a big deal for them. They can't miss.
Well, and
They
I think
can't miss.
Suicide Squad's their saving grace. I mean, everything they've put out has been excellent.
I believe it's going to do very
I talked
well.
to people even today. Talked to people even in this room right now who aren't big fans of all, but they saw Suicide Squad trailer and they're like, I'm in. Like this.
Yeah, no,
this looks
it's
rad. So I think people are. I'm really excited to see it. I think it's going to be epic. Is this sort of setting the tone for the future of the DC cinematic universe?
I think so.
Yeah.
I do. And look, they need a win. They're going to get a win. We're in agreement. Suicide Squad is going to be a hit. It's literally, how big of a hit is it? That's all the measuring stick you need. And it's going to be funny as we continue to go through this episode. People know I get a lot of heat from DC people.
Yeah.
And look, I'm a Marvel guy.
Yep.
I've had my biggest career achievements are with Marvel, and then with Image. I launched that company. But I've always, I'm a DC guy.
Yeah.
But lately, they've just, it's almost like they're trying to make up ground to catch up with Marvel, who's having success that you just can't measure.
Well, and that was the overall feel I got from Batman versus Superman. It was like, let's cram everything in so that we can catch up to where Marvel's at in one movie, And you lost a lot in that. Now, although I will say, for me, the weakest part of Batman versus Superman, the thing that just was, oh, your mom's Martha too?
Oh no, I don't even go there.
We need to stop fighting.
I have eliminated that. That's one of those things I just go, I can't deal with that. I'm going to focus on other things. The Martha thing is bad.
Oh, that was such a. I was like,
and that's like a script issue. You go, like you wrote that on the page,
Right.
Like and thought that was a good idea. And you know what? I'm going to say something positive. Hats off to Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck for acting that scene.
Yeah.
And you know.
and making it believable.
And because
doing
that's hard.
something with it.
I'm sure they're like, wait. So the whole thing is you're Martha, I'm Martha,
And now we're friends?
And your mom's Martha, I'm Martha.
Let's team up.
Yeah. So crazy, but I just think that after that is Wonder Woman.
Yep.
Which I think is going to be phenomenal. It could be the biggest of all of them. I mean, I think Wonder Woman has tremendous upside. Batman
Sure.
has been mined for material for years,
Yeah.
and I like the Christian Bale, Nolan movies. I did think Ben Affleck was the best of all the Batman to date, but it's time for some more new stuff, and Wonder Woman I think is going to be huge.
And I'm excited to see what Ben Affleck does with the Batman movie.
Yeah, me too. He's being you read that interview. He's not making it until the script is right. Again, no Marthas.
I've got a lot of theories on that one based on just things, just the Robin thing and who's the Joker really in Suicide Squad based on the Jason Todd thing in the comics and all of that.
And as you know, in the comic books, they have now revealed that Joker is multiple people,
Right.
which I got to be honest, pretty cool idea. But I like because I'm like, okay, that I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that. I didn't expect there to be, and then it makes sense. Like he's a killer with multiple people portraying him. I don't know where they're going to go with that.
Well, and
I think it's really
they've
cool.
pointed out that the Robin outfit that was in the Batcave had bullet holes in certain spots,
Correct.
and you can see those scars in the same spots on Jared Leto.
Okay.
So,
Well, there you go.
You don't know.
No, it's weird.
Yeah.
There's got to be There's going to be a huge twist in Suicide Squad.
I agree.
And
And
the other thing I've heard is Batman is in it a lot. Now we'll see
Yeah.
if I'm right or not. But I heard Batman is in Suicide Squad more than you
anticipate.
you are aware of. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right, let's move on. We want to hear, what are your comic book recs this week? What do you
Okay,
got for
I'm
us?
telling you. Now this is this week's comics.
Yep.
Now here's the thing. People of Earth who follow me and give me a hard time. What is with my? I bought these. This is my week's stash. I have Star Wars comic.
Yep.
This is the adaptation of The Force Awakens, which they put out 6 months later to not spoil anything, but I had to have it. I'm a completist, and this cover is beautiful. Phil Noto, you're awesome. But the rest of my stack, people, it's DC. I bought 2 Wonder Womans. I got the variant. This is last week's. We got to talk about last week's Batman, but I've got Flash, I got Aquaman. I glanced through them. They're great. DC is winning me back. I am a consumer. I don't get comics for free. I was not able to read this until I got here, but I can tell you these books are beautiful. I am intrigued by, as I told you in a previous episode, the Wonder Woman is finding out truths about her that she did not know existed.
Yes.
So I'm in. Again, more of the Wonder Woman. Beautiful, beautiful work.
Yeah.
And Flash is kind of driving the entire movement of DC Rebirth.
Okay.
And so this is the launch issue. These are all #1. See, don't tell. You want to know why they restart them at #1, Matt? Because you buy them. You buy them.
You want that?
We
You want
buy
that
them.
one in the corner.
Oh, this is only the 30th Flash #1 I've ever bought. But okay, looking forward to the 31st Flash #1.
Sure.
Okay, last week's Batman. Let me tell you
Yes.
something. This is the Batman Rebirth. Okay, so Batman saves a jet in this issue. Now, I'm going to tell you, this seemed very Bruce Timm, Batman animated series, because it's wild and wacky and outrageous. A plane is crashing in Gotham.
Okay.
Okay, Matt, how does Batman deal with this? He gets in his cool Bat car. He gets in his Bat, and he goes on the Bat Bridge. Okay, what does he do? What does he do? He ejects himself. He drives off the bridge at the certain height that the bridge is at, and he ejects himself out of the chair, and he's going up. How high can he go? How high can he go? He can go as high as the jet that's crashing. It's
an amazing
he
ejection
intercepts
seat.
the jet. I mean, honestly, I read this and I kept going, is this real? Out of the Bat ejector chair, he intercepts a plane. And Commissioner Gordon's like, Batman, are you on the plane? Batman, did you make it okay? Well, Matt, let me tell you, he made it okay.
Of course.
Now,
I'm shocked.
okay, now here's the deal. Then this kid looks out the window, hey, Dad, are you sure we're going to crash? Because Batman's on the wing of the plane. And Batman's like, hey, I got you, kid. Well, how does he get him? Matt, he puts a bat wire on one wing and then he walks over. He's upside down here because you can totally climb under a plane while it's crashing.
Sure.
And he gets another wire, and Matt, he is standing on
Sure.
the fuselage,
That's the thing.
and he is going to now guide the plane, because you can guide a plane with wires like a horse. Come on, plane! Come on, plane!
Now-
And so, yeah, and now, here's the best part. And Tim King, you rock. I am only reenacting this because you did this to me. This is a great comic book. This is imaginative and crazy. He talks to Alfred while he is guiding
I like the turn.
plane.
He actually.
Yes, he got the plane to turn with the wires that he's standing on the plane, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, and he says to Alfred, Alfred, I'm gonna die. Would this be a good death, Alfred? Would this be a good death? And Alfred says, yes, sir. Yes, sir. It would be a good, like, I'm like, what the hell? There- So he's guiding the plane safely through the city. And then two new characters intercept and pick up the plane and inform him that they are Gotham's protectors. So Batman didn't
got
need to do
competition.
the whole horse ride in the plane, because that's possible. But that's the thing I love about comic books. I'm gonna tell you right now, the thing I love about comic books is they shouldn't be stuff that's they should be outrageous.
Right.
You can do this to film this. This is a $50 million comic book, kids. To film this is $50 million. That's a whole lot of CGI, and that's a lot of green screen of Ben Affleck on a plane going, how do I turn the whole plane? So I cannot recommend Batman #1 more to see him guide a plane through the city. Matt, I didn't think it could be done, and I was like, you expect Batman's gonna fight some criminals.
Yes.
Remember how did he get there? He ejected himself.
Well, you know that I'm a pilot, and
You are a pilot.
They actually
A
did
very
teach
good
us
pilot.
that.
Teach us what?
How to do that. You can control the.
Oh man, I'm gonna take. You know what? I'm gonna get my
had to.
pilot's license. And
So you
check that
can
out.
learn to
Yeah.
control a plane that way. No.
Can I get a couple more minutes to talk about comic books?
Absolutely.
Okay, because here's the deal, people. I'm gonna hijack this portion of the show because 25 years ago my life changed. No, not my wife. I married her 21 years ago. But almost as good as my wife is X-Force. When this airs, X-Force launched this big mama that could stop a bullet. If Batman can fly a plane, I can stop a bullet with my
Absolutely,
omnibus.
for sure.
All these cool comics launched 25 years ago. X-Force came out. X-Force came out of the New Mutants, which was dying. And if you want to know why it was dying, buy the comics before I did them. And then I came on the book, and I introduced Cable and all these cool characters. And I'm telling you, this was a life. This changed my career.
Sure.
And people said to me, "What's an X-Force? That's not going to do well. No one's ever heard of an X-Force. Where's Wolverine? Where's Spider-Man? Where's a recognizable character?" And you know what? The fans, they followed me on this journey. They jumped on with this crazy character I created, Cable, that then created Deadpool and Shatterstar and Warpath. But 25 years, we sold 5 million copies. And here's the deal. I'm going to be putting this up online and commemorating this. But the thing that I love to hear is, how old were you when you bought X-Force? #1. I meet so many fans, and some of them come up to me and they go, "Mr. Liefeld, I loved X-Force #1. I said, "You weren't alive. You're 13. Where'd you get it? Did you get it in the quarter bin? Because now it's worth $20 again." So, that was a good score. 25 cents, now moving up. But Matt, I really just want to thank anyone who has followed my career. You bought X-Force, you supported it. And it's exciting as there's
awesome.
rumors that X-Force is coming together in a cinematic universe. Maybe someday we're going to come back and talk about the X-Force universe.
Be awesome.
But if we're lucky enough, but it will never top Batman on the plane. We're going to go off the air just as I'm like feeling it, like it kicked in. Woo!
Ladies and gentlemen, Rob Liefeld's here today. We are introducing a new segment, which is Rob's Toy of the Week.
Toy of the Week, Matt.
And we've got this thing.
Yeah, it's more
Death
than
Star
a Death Star cardboard, beat up Death Star.
Because it looks kind of like a Death Star pinata.
That it does. Now, if it were a Death Star pinata, it would have some killer stuff inside, like this, which is the secret content. Now, the reason this is the Toy of the Week, because it's always, I'm wearing Star Wars. It's
epic.
always a good time for Star Wars. Force Awakens. This was a Comic-Con special. This is why people go crazy over Comic-Con, Matt. This stuff is only available that weekend you don't see it ever again.
Yeah.
And you have to stand in line for 100 hours, or something special like I did.
Yeah.
And they gift you this because they're wonderful. And this is, now this, I believe in taking this stuff out and playing with it.
Sure.
But
Not this.
that sounded weird. But these toys are going to stay in the package.
But did you? And
this-
I don't know if you noticed, Revenge of the Jedi.
Yeah, dude, there you go. See, it goes perfectly with us.
I know.
But I mean, honestly, this is so killer. I just had to share it. So every week,
This is
You know,
awesome.
you're welcome to participate in Toy of the
Sure.
Week, Matt. So just
Sure,
let
I
me
don't
know.
have as cool
You're
stuff
never
as
going to
you
be
do,
cooler
but-
than this Death
No,
Star.
this is-
But you know, I've always wanted to do this. Hang on, and collectors are going to have a real problem with this. But I'm sorry, I just want to do it. We're rolling it away. Okay. All right. So next week we'll have a brand
Wow.
new toy. Okay.
We shouldn't. We won't get anything about
Don't
that
give me
at
your
all,
valuable
I'm sure.
collectibles.
I'm sure.
Don't
I'm
give
sure.
don't give those to me. Are we going to mention the shelf?
We are going to mention the shelf. So we're making changes to the shelf. We're adding and subtracting things as we go, and we would love to hear if you're noticing what those things are. And we're on Twitter and Instagram at Nerdy Pop Show. You can check that out and let us know. Let us know if you see changes. We might have some prizes for you. We might have something if you notice.
Always nerdy and poppy.
Always nerdy and poppy.
Yes.
Always, always. And you can check out our continued contest going on right now at nerdypopshow.com to win the Deadpool variant cover limited
1 in
edition,
100.
1 in 100
Limited variant.
and
Yes.
signed by Rob Liefeld.
I think you're going to dig it.
Yep. So go there and it'll give you the instructions on how to win that, and follow us online. And next week we'll be back here talking about Independence Day Resurrection, which is coming
Awesome.
out this weekend.
Can't
I'm
wait.
really excited about
More
it.
Jeff Goldblum is a good thing.
Always, always. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next
Thank
week.
you. See you guys. Oh my gosh. We did it.
We did
That
it.
one was like giving birth.
Made it.